You're about to fail that exam, bomb that presentation, get rejected, lose everything. At least that's what your brain is telling you right now. But here's the thing, none of that has actually happened yet, and there's a really good chance it never will. Yet you're sitting here right now feeling all the pain, all the anxiety, all the stress as if it's already real. 2,000 years ago, the Roman philosopher Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius, "There are things more likely to frighten us than to crush us. We suffer more often in our imaginations than in reality." And modern neuroscience has proven he was right. But it gets worse. Not only are you suffering twice, once in your mind now, and possibly again if it actually happens, but by constantly visualizing failure, you're literally programming your brain to make it more likely to happen. So let me show you what's going on and how to stop it. Part 1. The future doesn't exist. Seneca observed that chronic worriers, people who are constantly anxious, tend to be more occupied by the future than the present. So during the day and even at night, their thoughts wander into this mysterious realm of what's yet to come, plotting, planning, and calculating how to tackle an unfortunate fate that may rear its ugly head. But here's the problem. Even though they desperately wish to control the future, they've never gone beyond the confines of the present. Why? Because the future doesn't exist except in our minds. We can't live in the future, we can't predict it. Sure, we can plan for things that might come, but the present usually unfolds in different and often surprising ways. The mountain and the blizzard. Think of it like this. You're standing on the top of a mountain facing an endless blizzard. The blizzard comes from all directions, and at different speeds brings snowflakes in all different shapes and sizes. The mountain cannot predict what's coming. It cannot control the storm. It can only endure and watch the snowflakes come and go, just as we watch moments come and go. From what we call the future to the past. We know something is coming, but no matter how we try to prepare, no matter how detailed our plans, we always are shooting in the dark. And the thing is, more times than not, we don't even have all the information we need to make the plan accurate. We have the first draft of our plan, but when we actually take action, more steps that we weren't able to see at the start usually unveil themselves. That's why the future as we imagine it has no ground to stand on. The future is nothing more than an idea, varying on wild guesses, predictions, based on past results. Groundless fear, yet so many of us are crushed under the weight of these ideas, suffering from what Seneca calls groundless fears, based on nothing but speculation instead of truth. And Seneca wrote, truth has its own definitive boundaries. Some things affect us before they even appear. Other things affect us when, in reality, they never will. Why? Because we're habitually exaggerating, imagining, and anticipating bad things. Part 2. How your mind creates false evils. The mind's dark trick. Seneca describes how sometimes our minds create bad events when there's actually nothing bad to be found. Here's what comes to mind. It twists a word of doubtful meaning into the worst construction. Someone texts us, we need to talk, and your brain immediately thinks, I'm getting dumped, they hate me, my life is over, right? It fancies some personal grudge to be more serious than you really think it is. Your boss gives you critical feedback and your mind spirals. I'm getting fired. I'm worthless, I'll never succeed. It considers not how angry someone is, but what lengths they might go to if they're angry. Your friend seems distant and you think, they're plotting against me, they're turning against me. None of this is real. You just invented multiple catastrophes out of thin air. The neuroscience behind it. Here's where ancient wisdom meets modern science. When you vividly imagine something negative happening, bombing that presentation, getting rejected, failing that test, your brain processes this as if it's already happened. The same brain regions activate whether you are actually experiencing a stressful event or just vividly imagining the emotions of that event happening. Your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, lights up. Cortisol floods your system, and your entire body enters fight or flight mode. Your body doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So when you spend 3 days imagining, your nervous system experiences 3 days of actual failure, even though nothing has even happened yet. This makes you feel sick, literally. The human habit of worrying isn't just unpleasant. There's overwhelming scientific evidence that chronic worry makes people physically ill. High cortisol levels constantly lead to stress, weakened immune systems, digestive problems, sleep disorders, heart disease, accelerated aging. This means that even though this future doesn't exist, we're worrying ourselves sick because of it. And here's the cruel irony. You're getting all these negative benefits to your health, the effects of disaster, without the disaster ever actually happening. Part 3. The Psycho-Cybernetics problem. You're programming yourself for failure. Dr. Maxwell Maltz discovered something revolutionary in his best-selling book, Psycho-Cybernetics. Your brain works like a guided missile system. It moves towards whatever target you give it. Think about athletes, the ones who spend time visualizing perfect performance alongside physical practice, that outperform other athletes who only practice physically. Why is this? Think of prime Conor McGregor, how much work he would do visualizing a knockout. Against Jose Aldo, he visualized the hook and then it ended up happening. It was one of the quickest knockouts of all time. The reason is because mental rehearsal creates the same neural pathways as actual practice. But here's the terrifying part. This works in reverse too. If you're constantly visualizing and emotionally experiencing failure, you're literally programming your brain's guidance system towards failure. Every time you imagine bombing that presentation, you're creating neural pathways for failure, training your stress response to activate in that situation. depleting the mental resources you need when it actually happens. So showing up defeated before you even start is not the move. The self-fulfilling prophecy. When you worry excessively about something, you decrease your actual performance. Anxiety impairs working memory, decision-making, and cognitive function. You literally become dumber under stress. You create a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're so convinced you'll fail that you show up less prepared, less confident, already defeated. You drain your mental resources. By the time you actually have to do the event, you're exhausted from fighting imaginary battles for days or weeks before it's happened. You're not preparing, worrying yourself. You're practicing suffering, and you're training your brain to expect failure. It's like training for a marathon but visualizing yourself collapsing every 3 miles, then wondering why you did poorly in the race. It makes no sense. Part 4. Seneca's first antidote, reality check. Are your sufferings real or imaginary? Seneca posed this question to his friend, and then provided a powerful framework. We are tormented either by things present or by things to come, or by both. As to things present, the decision is easy. He then asks, do you currently enjoy freedom and health? Are you not suffering from any external injury right now, in this present moment? If the answer is yes, then right now, in this moment, there's nothing wrong. The suffering exists only in your projection of the future. Look at your track record. Seneca reminds Lucilius that although many unfortunate events have overcome him, he's always stood his ground. Somehow he was always able to cope. When you look at your own life history, you'll find the same pattern. When you perceive a catastrophe in advance, usually it turns out worse than you want it to. Oftentimes you suffer less than you anticipate. But here's the irony. The majority of suffering happens before the actual event takes place. The exam example, think of someone taking an important test, then weeks before you worry about it, like, what if I screw up? What if I fail? What if this goes bad? My life is over, my parents will hate me. But the anxiety you experience during the actual exam is negligible compared to what you've endured for weeks beforehand. And oftentimes, usually you'll just get into the flow when you're actually in the test and do better than you think. Your catastrophic beliefs about consequences that haven't happened yet and cannot be predicted. You think, if I fail, my life is over. If I don't pass, it proves I'm a failure. But these beliefs aren't true. They're speculation about the future that doesn't exist. The present moment test. Seneca's antidote is simple but powerful. Carefully discern between imagination and reality and ask yourself right now, is this actually happening to me right now? Am I actually in danger in this present moment? Or am I just suffering over something that only exists in my mind? As soon as you figure out that your fears are based on irrational thinking, fantasies, or exaggerations, your worries are debunked. Part 5. Seneca's second antidote. Even bad fortune is fickle. Seneca displayed a certain open-mindedness in his letter to Lucilius, urging him not to conclude too hastily about what fortune provides. Looking at our human ignorance, not only about what will happen or how events will play out, but also about the exact nature of these events and how they'll affect our lives. It's better to be careful when judging fate. Here's what Seneca observed. Sometimes the misfortune you anticipate does come true. But sometimes events take such a radical and unexpected turn that, against all odds, you get off the hook. The man and the tiger. A man is being chased by a tiger. He runs to escape and jumps into an old well. Halfway down, he grabs onto the root sticking out of the wall. He looks down and there's a poisonous snake at the bottom. He looks up, the tiger is waiting. He looks at the root. Mice are eating away at it. His fate seems sealed. There's no way out. But then out of nowhere, fortune grants him an escape. He could have never predicted this. Every bad fortune is fickle, Seneca says. Hardship can fall upon us at any time, but so can a stroke of luck against horrible circumstances. Don't judge before it actually happens. So Seneca wrote, let us look carefully into this matter. It's likely that some trouble will befall us, but it's not a present fact. How often has the unexpected happened? How often has the expected never come to pass? If something bad is going to happen, it's going to happen anyways. So you might as well look forward to better things beforehand, right? So this is powerful. He's not saying to deny that bad things happen. He's not encouraging ignorance of terrible fates that could occur. He's just advocating for careful observation without obsession. Walk the middle path. That's where people talk about balance. On one end, don't be in denial of potential misfortune. On the other, don't let the smallest sign of adversary throw you into panic. The key is mindfully assessing the situation at hand while keeping all your options open. Part 6. Protecting your mind from outside influences. Trust yourself, not doomers. Seneca warns Lucilius to be careful about outside influence when it comes to his personal situation. It's better to trust in ourselves and take counsel with our feelings independently as we know our affairs better. There are many individuals out there who don't always have your best intention in mind. And everyone has a different view of the world, different view of reality, claiming that they can predict the future, gladly planting seeds of fear in our minds, making us uneasy about situations, doom scrolling social media. Think of the news, always telling you something bad's happening. Watching 24/7 news cycles designed to keep you afraid. Listening to people who catastrophize everything. Getting sucked into echo chambers of anxiety. Seneca urges us to consult reason to see if we're turning something into an evil that isn't necessarily that way. Just because someone else is panicking doesn't mean you should. Just because the algorithm is feeding you the worst case scenario doesn't actually make it true. So, know your affairs better than anyone. Know your situation, know what you're capable of. You know your track record of dealing with difficulty. Don't let outside voices, especially those of fear, dictate how you feel about your own life. Part 7. The practical solution. Stop suffering twice. How to apply Seneca's wisdom into your daily life. Number 1. The present moment check. When you catch yourself catastrophizing, ask yourself, is this happening right now? If no, bring yourself back to the present. Focus on what's actually in front of you, the task at hand. Seneca's rule, as to things present, the decision is easy. Today, there's nothing wrong with it. 2. Examine your track record. Keep an I handle it journal. Every time something you worried about either doesn't happen or happens, but you handle it fine, write it down. Over time, you'll build overwhelming confidence that most worries never materialize. It's just like putting votes in the red box or in the green box. The more votes you're able to put in the green box for that something bad didn't actually happen, the more you'll believe it. Then eventually it'll just become your paradigm and your reality. Most worries never materialize. When challenges do come, you're more capable than you think. Number 3, stay open-minded about outcomes. Remember, even bad fortune is fickle. Don't conclude too hastily about the nature of events that haven't happened yet. The future unfolds in many unexpected ways, and sometimes worse than you thought, but often better, and just completely different. 4, flip your mental rehearsal. If your brain is going to simulate the future anyways, and it will, give it a better script. Instead of visualizing failure 100 times, visualize handling the challenge with skill. See yourself staying calm under pressure. Feel yourself responding with confidence. Imagine the relief and the joy after you do the thing and it works out good. This isn't denial. This is strategic mental programming using the same mechanism that's currently working against you. 5, guard your mind from fearmongers. Be selective about who you listen to, who you consume content from, which conversations you engage in. You know yourself better than others. Don't let others plant groundless fears in your mind. Number 6, practice the middle path. Balance, right? Don't be in denial about potential challenges, but don't panic at the small sign of difficulty. Mindfully assess what's actually happening and keep your options open. The bottom line. Here's the reality. Seneca wants you to understand life will have real challenges, real difficulty, real pain. You don't need to add imaginary pain on top of this. Every moment you spend suffering over something that hasn't happened yet is a moment stolen from your actual life. You're not preparing yourself by worrying. You're just practicing suffering. And worse, as Psycho-Cybernetics mentions, you're training your brain to expect failure, which makes failure more likely. Seneca's final wisdom. What does it avail to run out and meet your suffering? You'll suffer soon enough when it arrives. So look forward, meanwhile, to better things. Pretty much, like, why would you think about something bad happening before it happens? Face what comes with a clear head and how you're full of capabilities to actually be able to take this on. When challenges arise, you'll find that you have more strength than you thought. But you can't access that strength if you're already exhausted from fighting these phantom battles and suffering time and time again for things that haven't actually happened. Don't suffer twice. So here's a little challenge for you if you want to take some actionable steps on improving this for the next 7 days. Every time you catch yourself worrying about a future that didn't happen or a negative outcome, ask yourself these questions. Is this happening right now? If no, it's imaginary suffering. Have I always found a way to deal with this before? Check your track record. Am I converting this into a problem that isn't actually there? This will help see the reality of it. So tally these up and see if you're actually on the right track or if you're worrying about things that you don't need to. I guarantee you'll be shocked by the number. Drop a comment and tell me what's happening. Are you worrying about something right now that probably won't happen? And how do you think you'll handle this better in the future? If you found any value in this video, I would really appreciate if you subscribe. It helps the channel grow. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching. Stop suffering twice, and I'll see you in the next one.